What's up, guys? Rick here with a preview for this week's FedEx St. Jude Championship, and this is a very special week for me and hopefully a very special week for you. Yes, it is the first leg of the FedEx Cup playoffs, but I will be in Memphis. I'm flying there on Tuesday, and I don't know how much I can share of this. I'm just going to hope that by the time you watch this, more of it is announced, but I am going down to be a part of some of the golf bet coverage. They're doing kind of some really unprecedented things that the PGA Tour has never done kind of in the golf bet community before, really giving us unparalleled access, right? I'm allowed to share videos from my phone. I signed an agreement like that I've never signed before. I think we're going to have more access to players and the range and stuff like that. So hopefully the idea is that we're going to be able to be a real solid boots on the ground solution and make some cool content along the way. So you're probably going to see my face a lot, hear my voice a lot this week. If you don't like that, it's going to stink for you. If you do like that, it's going to be very good for you. There's also, again, I don't know if I should say this. I'll ask for forgiveness instead of permission. There's going to be a meet and greet. So if you're going to be out at TPC Southwind, Friday, I believe, is going to be the meet and greet. I will figure out what the time is going to be, but it'll be really cool if you want to come say hello. It would be much. I always love meeting you guys out there. So that would be very cool as well. The final note about this before we jump in is I am going to move the live chat this week. So because I'm traveling and because I'm going to be at the golf course on Wednesday, I was like, man, should I do it Tuesday night? Should I do it early Wednesday? I thought that was a little bit of a disservice. We're going to do it Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening-ish, so that I can use everything that I have seen to help you, okay? So right now, tentatively, it is 6 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday for the Rick Run Good live chat on the Rick Run Good YouTube channel. That's the plan. Might be 6:30, might, be a little fluid just as I figure things out, but we will absolutely get it done one way or another on Wednesday. All right, let's look at this golf course. This is TPC Southwind. It is a place that we have gone a lot. However, they did a renovation in the last year. Also, before I even get into that, top 70 players, actually only 69 are playing. There is no cut for guaranteed rounds. The renovation touched every green and every tee box. So what they did is basically over time, when you have golf courses, greens tend to get smaller. The way that they're cut, and just like every now and then, okay, the fringe just creeps in a little bit more. It just creeps in, it creeps in, it creeps in. After 10 years, you look up and you've lost square footage of your greens. Those have been restored. So the greens are a touch bigger this year. 200, 300 square feet on average. It gives them a couple more pinnable locations, so it'll play a little bit differently. What we know about new greens in particular is that they are almost always bouncy. It takes years, a year or two, for everything to settle in, and we'll see. It's been a wet year for them in Memphis. We'll see about that. They've already had more rainfall in 2025 through August 1st than they did the entirety of 2024. So it's been a very wet year. We'll see how receptive these greens are. I'll see how receptive they are on Wednesday. I'll let you know on Wednesday night. But in theory, these are more firm greens that usually then benefits the distance control players, the better approach players, guys that can usually play out of the fairway, guys that can generate spin. Speaking of playing out of the fairway, pretty critical around TPC Southwind. Massive penalties for missing the fairway. There's only one hole, only one par 4, one par 5. It's number 3. It's the par 5, in which the value of a long drive, a drive longer than average, is more valuable than the penalty for missing the fairway. And there are a lot of missed fairway penalties out here that are pretty significant. Third of a stroke, half a stroke, and certainly do not miss the fairway on number 2. That's nearly 2/3 of a stroke per missed fairway. The regression model on the course key stats page on RickRunGood.com loves approach play already. It loves driving accuracy already. It loves strokes gained putting already. And I think those are probably all increased this week. The rough is up a little bit more than usual, another half inch, but another half inch of Bermuda grass rough is annoying and can create some flyer lies and such. So from about 2.5 inches up to 3 inches. And that will probably make a bigger benefit for driving accuracy. It will also, as discussed, I think really increase the ability or the value of approach play, which is always very valuable. But again, all of these new greens and situations. And then putting, you don't usually see putting pop up here. TPC Southwind is not, I don't know. I was going to say it's not the easiest golf course in the world. I mean, there are definitely some spots you've got to get right, but a lot of these holes are going to play very close to even par, a little below, a little above, and making a birdie is going to pick you up nearly a full shot to the field on a lot of these holes. Making a bogey is going to lose you nearly a full shot to the field on a lot of these holes. So it just kind of creates a lot of swings in the strokes gained by hole department. So I do like that about TPC Southwind. The other thing, so when you overlay the last 24 rounds of everybody in this field on this regression model, and I bumped it down to 24, I think we're at the time of year where, listen, you got to be hot, right? You've got to be hot. We are sprinting now. This is no longer a marathon. You have got to be hot. The best adjusted fits go to Scotty Scheffler, Chris Gotterup, Matt Fitzpatrick, Sepp Straka, and Ben Griffin. I'm sure we're going to talk about all of those guys. We're going to talk about a ton of these guys. Only 69 players in the field, and they should be the 69 best players of the year if that's how, the FedEx Cup point system works. So love this golf course. Looking forward to seeing it for the first time in person. And again, Wednesday night for the live chat. Let's roll. Golf season has kicked off, and there's no better place to sweat the action than DraftKings Daily Fantasy, the ultimate destination for fantasy golf fans. Right now, DraftKings is giving new customers a chance to play free for their share of millions in prizes with their first deposit on the DraftKings Daily Fantasy app. It's simple to play. Build your dream lineup while staying under the salary cap, then sit back and watch as your players rack up points. Every birdie, every bogey, every clutch putt, feel the intensity of every shot. Download the DraftKings Daily Fantasy app and enter promo code RickDFS to play free for your share of millions with your first deposit. That's RickDFS for new DraftKings customers. Just download the Daily Fantasy app today. The crown is yours. All right, here's the cheat sheet. There are 4 golfers over $10,000 on DraftKings. Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, Justin Thomas, and Russell Henley? What? All right. I love Russell. That caught me off guard. Not going to lie. That caught me off guard. We'll get there. No Rory McIlroy here. We are very much at the point where we are jamming Scotty Scheffler until further notice. Full on top 10 run dating back to the Players Championship. It's like 12 in a row. 4 wins in the span. Tee to green numbers that will make you blush. Putting numbers that are astronomically good, especially for him. Just such an improved aspect of his game. Approach play is going to be critical. He's the best distance control player in the world. It's not even close. His history around Southwind is not as good as a lot of places that we've seen, but he finished 4th here last year, picked up 8 strokes from tee to green, did it in a very Scotty Scheffler-esque way, a complete gain, and just like he's just gonna smash these guys. Without Rory McIlroy, there is a chasm. Did I use that correctly? Chasm between him and the rest of the field. It's being displayed in the outright market. He's plus 260. Xander Schauffele's next at 16-1. Yet the DFS pricing never reflects that. He does not need to finish atop the leaderboard to be in the optimal lineup. He's been in the optimal lineup, I swear, like every single time he's played that I can remember. He's basically in the optimal lineup. So there's just not a ton of reason to find a fade on Scotty. 4 guaranteed rounds. Did I mention that yet? It's splendid stuff. He's the safest player in the field. He's got the highest upside in the field. Xander Schauffele and Justin Thomas are next. I think both of these are worth a lot of consideration. When you start building multiple lineups and you're not playing Scotty Scheffler in every single one, we've got to figure out other solutions. So Xander has back-to-back top 10 finishes, the Scottish Open and the Open Championship. That swing was very, very good to him. He finished runner-up here last year. Again, not a great set of results, but very respectable results at TPC Southwind. The thing that I find most interesting about Xander, and we can argue whether this is good, bad, or indifferent, he's played very few times this year, right? I mean, he has played, let's see, in 2025, 14 times. Scotty's played 16. Justin Thomas has played 21. We're gonna get to guys in this range who have is 14 the fewest amount of starts in this field? It is, of course, because he missed time with the rib injury. So, are we looking at the freshest golfer in the world right now? The freshest, best golfer in the world? I guess Scotty's only played a couple more times, but is that a thing? Listen, it's gonna be hot. I just got back from Nashville. It was brutal. I just got back from Vegas. It was brutal. I'm going to Memphis. It's going to be brutal. Is the freshness of Xander worth a little bit of a bump? I tend to think so. And listen, outside of the Travelers Championship, which was a complete disaster, he has been very, very good this year. I will not abandon him now. Justin Thomas has gained strokes on the putting surfaces in every event dating back to the Players Championship. It is by far the best putting stretch of his career. He is squashing those concerns for me. His history at TPC Southwind is good enough. He has struggled with the putter a little bit at times. Now, here's what I worry about. Mention how much he has played. The other problem is he needs to keep it in play off the tee. Did you see all of those penalties for missing the fairway, right? It's just every single hole. We've got to keep it in the fairway. If we can do that, Justin Thomas has a really good chance. I think these guys are priced accurately. If I was playing 100 lineups, I would probably do something like 50 on Scotty, 30 on Xander, 20 on Justin Thomas. I want exposure to all of them, but obviously the nod goes to Mr. Scheffler. Let's look at Russell Henley. He is going to be overlooked here. This is probably the most expensive Russell we've seen. Okay, PGA National earlier this year at the Cognizant, he was $10,700. That's the only time he's been over $10,000 this year, and probably only, I mean, very few times in his career does he get over $10,000, you know, where it's not a John Deere Classic where he's the favorite. I mean, I'm back into 2020 and I've counted 3 total times, and that includes the one that I mentioned at the Cognizant. So that alone, combined with the guys in the 9K range, the guys above him, I think is going to leave Russell Henley fairly untouched. We've got 4 straight top 10 finishes. And this is about as true to Russell Henley's DNA as possible. A very solid approach player, the ability to heat up the putter after a 3-tournament stretch where he struggled with the flat stick, that is now behind him. He's your X factor here, right? He doesn't have to win, but he's got to be pretty close to that. He is your X factor. I don't think many people are going to be involved in the Russell Henley conversation this week. The 9K range is very fascinating, and I'm drawn to a couple of names here. One, Matt Fitzpatrick at $9,700, Victor Hovland at $9,300, and then we can kind of discuss some of the other guys here. So let's start with Fitzpatrick, who I think most people are not going to realize how well he closed last week. You might look at this and be like, oh my God, Matt Fitzpatrick finished T8 at the Wyndham. How did that happen? Well, he picked up 8.2 strokes to the field on the weekend, which I guess I could have had this ready. I assume is one of the better weekends that we saw from anybody. Let's just take a look while we're here. Come on, what are we doing? We can just look. Weekends, yeah. So Patrick Fishburne gained 9 strokes to the field over the weekend. Matt Fitzpatrick was second, 8.3 strokes to the field. So second best weekend of anybody in the field last week. That was a complete gain. The Open was a complete gain. The Scottish Open was a complete gain. The Rocket Classic was not, but it was his 4th straight top 8 finish. So now we've got a bunch of really good predictive items here. 4 straight top 8s, 3 of 3, being complete gains. Okay. You want to look at his history? T18 here last year, T66 the year before, T5 in 2022, and then he missed the cut in each of the previous 2 years. That was, gosh, this event's been through so much. I mean, remember when it used to be a cut. There's been a lot. This has gone through a lot, but this is very encouraging stuff here from Matt Fitzpatrick. I have nothing bad to say. Victor Hovland, his streak of gaining strokes on approach in every event of 2025 has come to an end, and it came to an end at Royal Portrush. I usually don't take too much stock into what you do at majors, what you do at Open Championships. Very different style of golf. I don't penalize guys too much for that. His history around Southwind is phenomenal. 4 top 20 finishes in his last 5, or in his only 5. T2 last year. He's putted well. He's knocked the cover off the ball here. Must fit his eye. He's got some ties to Memphis with a couple swing coaches ago, Jeff Smith. I think this is a place that just fits him rather well, and he plays great. So though it's those two. If you want to play Tommy Fleetwood, Tommy's been great. Tommy Ladd, right? If you go to the power rankings, everybody in this field over the last 36, Tommy Fleetwood is the 6th best player in this field. Matt Fitzpatrick's the 4th best player in this field. So, like, I am not going to beat you up for going to Tommy Fleetwood. It's all good. I'm not going to beat you up if you want to go to Ludwig Oberg. So when I start getting into dozens of lineups and I'm starting to look at taking on a little bit more risk, this is where I'm finding Ludwig. Immense upside, has put 3-ish rounds together since the summer started, trying to put that 4th round together. We've seen phenomenal flashes. We just have not seen him put it together basically since he won that event at Torrey Pines earlier this year. I want to look at Colin Morikawa with you because he's your sleeper. He's like your sleeper. Who's going to play Colin Morikawa? Struggling with the putter. He's missed 2 cuts in a row. Can we forgive those 2 cuts that came overseas? Probably. So before that, T8 at the Rocket. This is a golf course that rewards accuracy off the tee and approach play. Okay. I have a feeling that as this week goes on, I will grow warm on Colin Morikawa. That's just my early feeling as I look through this and say, do you prefer Patrick Cantlay or Colin Morikawa? Probably Colin Morikawa. Or when the projected ownership starts coming in and we see him like completely overlooked here in the 9K range. I just have a feeling I'm going to be vibing on Colin, which is probably an illness that I have, but I sense it coming. The 8K range. Oh my God, all of our boys are here. How did they do this to us? How can Ben Griffin and Chris Gotterup be $8,100 and $8,000? Okay. They are, first off, they're having some of the best seasons on the PGA Tour. Over the last 36 rounds, Chris Gotterup is the 2nd best player in this field. He's gaining 1.9 strokes gained per round. Ben Griffin is gaining the 3rd most, 1.82. Ben Griffin, again, very quietly finished on the weekend and finished T11 at Wyndham. And we, what did I say? What have I been saying? Pat myself on the back here. The miscut at the John Deere was not a huge deal. That was 2 bad holes. The miscut at the Open wasn't bad. It was the Open, and he gained strokes to the field. So now we have, still, with 2 miscuts, 9 straight events that he has beaten the field, and most of them handily. He's gaining 2 strokes a round. It really doesn't matter, does it? $8,100. Incredible stuff from Ben Griffin. And then Chris Gotterup, who has not been as, I shouldn't even say that. I was going to say he hasn't been as good as long. This dates back to Punta Cana, April. He's been phenomenal since April. The win at the Scottish didn't slow him down. Finished 3rd at the Open. Coming back overseas didn't slow him down. These guys, he's got an eye on a prize. Chris Gotterup. So we might have 1 year of this new tour championship. where everybody starts at even. I don't know that, but it might be the case. Chris Goddard is the prime candidate to steal a tour championship. Get scorching hot, go to a golf course that fits you, get scorching hot for 5 weeks, be a tour champion. That would be, it's not going to happen, but he's looking at that and then saying, and then I'll be on the Ryder Cup team. He has so much to play for. He is phenomenal. He is phenomenal. All right, I'll stop gushing. Sam Burns and his history around TPC Southwind, well documented. Picked up 7 strokes here, putting T5 last year. I've got concerns that the putter has cooled off over the last 2. I have concerns that we're not seeing as strong a play throughout the bag as we were for this small stretch here around the Canadian Open, US Open. He's cooled off a little bit. Harris English refuses to cool off. Harris English is perpetually underpriced. He's just finding ways to the top of the leaderboard. The concern for Harris is that he's been miserable around TPC Southwind. He has a runner-up here in 2020. He's just miserable every other year. And I don't think I care all that much. You could argue this year with the new, it's 30 yards longer. You're going to get some new sight lines. You're going to get new surfaces. You're going to get whatever. It might not matter as much. That course history might not matter as much this week. I'm really fascinated with what Aaron Rai could do. Aaron Rai has had a lost year. Okay. He had done nothing since he won the Wyndham Championship last year. Now we're starting to get him back on track again. Played his best golf of the year at the Wyndham last year. Picked up 12 strokes from tee to green. Picked up 10.5 on approach. 10.5 on approach. That has got to be one of the best weeks of anybody this year. Yeah, okay. So if anybody in this field who are the best players in the world, it's the 3rd best approach week of anyone. Scotty Scheffler did it at the Byron Nelson, 12.9. Xander, 11.2 at Valspar. Aaron Rai, 10.4 at the Wyndham. Hoochie mama. That is scorching. So that's where I'm headed. If you want to make a case for Keegan, fine. If you want to make a case for... I just am going to play... I'm going to play the boys here. The 7K range is not nearly as exciting. I think Harry Hall, so if you look at those power rankings last 36 rounds, Harry Hall was up there as well. 5th best player in this field, 1.7 strokes gained per round. The problem with Harry is that he, in that stretch, has been doing it very much with the putter, which is what we saw last year. That was Harry previous to 2025. He was just a short game specialist. He still is a short game specialist, but he found a lot of really good ball striking this year. And now I'm a little bit concerned. 3 straight where he's lost strokes on approach. I'm not ready to move off of him just yet because he has such a high floor with the short game categories that I think he'll be just fine, and the price is right. Outside of Harry Hall, what moves the needle in the 7K range? Berger a little bit, JJ Spawn to an extent. I think the most interesting one is Wyndham Clark. We're going to learn what's going on with Wyndham this week. So 3 straight top 12 finishes. I was impressed that he came back from overseas and put it together another top 20, top 15. TPC Twin Cities with water lurking everywhere destroyed him off the tee. He lost 4 strokes off the tee, but he was phenomenal everywhere else. There's water in play on 11 holes at TPC Southwind. So still very much of a concern there, but he finished, 7th, I think it was last year? 7th here last year where he gained across the board. Obviously, he was playing much better golf at that time, but this is the best golf he's played. He's highly incentivized and highly motivated to earn as many points as possible to get himself into everything and move up. I don't think his FedEx Cup standing is particularly great right now. Kind of snuck into the playoffs thanks to this run that he got here late. I think that he is a golfer who has legitimate signature event, major championship winning upside. We have seen that, and he's $7,600. I don't know if we can say that about a lot of his other peers. Denny McCarthy is now, I think, 2nd of strokes gained since 2022 without a victory. Tommy Fleetwood is still number 1, right? And this is PGA Tour victories. So, who's got more win equity in this field? Denny McCarthy or Wyndham Clark? I think everybody would agree that it's Wyndham Clark. Outside of that, I think these are all average plays. Kurt Kitayama has clearly started to find something. So the victory at the 3M, he backs it up with a pretty solid finish, all things considered, at the Wyndham Championship. He ends up finishing T31, and it was really just one bad round. His Saturday round, he lost 2 strokes to the field. He played himself out of it that day, but otherwise, the other 3 rounds were very good. I can cherry pick just to give you an idea on that. So let me just cherry pick every day but, what did I say, Friday or Saturday? Saturday. I'm going to cherry pick every day but Saturday. Kurt Kitayama was, yeah, I guess it wasn't as good as I thought it was. He picked up 6 strokes to the field. It was like 20th, something like that. So I thought he was going to be 8th, but he is not. Still very good driver. I mean, the ball striking has been great since the Byron Nelson, which is good because that's what gave him a lot of trouble at the beginning of the year. The 6K range gets very sad very quickly, right? I mean, let's look at this. We've got Grazerman, Taylor, Minwoo, Siwoo, all off of cuts. And Grazerman's now missed 4 in a row. Siwoo's now missed 3 in a row. Sungjae, who after Friday was in contention to win the golf tournament, falls to T27. Nico Echeverria, who was in the final pairing, finishes T19. Ryan Gerard, coming off the win, misses the cut. Sam Stevens, coming off the runner-up finish, misses the cut. Yikes. Right? I mean, this is sad days. A lot of these guys got into this event because of something they did earlier in the year, and you can see how much red there is at the bottom of the sheet. Guys missing 3, 4, 5 cuts in a row, limping to the finish line. I think that's a very different story for a lot of the guys who are accelerating into this field. The 6K range feels like a lot of guys who are limping home. That being said, I think there are a couple of reasonable options. Nick Taylor is coming off a missed cut, but his was at the Open, and his starts prior to that were awesome, and I think he's just been having a great year. Justin Rose, who's now 45 years old, and it's been a long year. I've said this about a million times for him. When he plays well, he's in contention. There's not a cut risk this week. He had the 6th place finish at the Scottish, the T16 at the Open, so he's had, 2 or 3 weeks to vibe and get ready for this. He has played at TPC Southwind a ton. A lot of top 20 finishes, a handful of top 10s along the way. Nothing completely out of the ordinary. I would say this is probably the best golf Justin Rose has played in the last 5 years, maybe longer than that. So I'm comfortable there. Emiliano Grillo also feels a little bit comfy. Got off to a decent start, struggled a bit on the weekend, ended up finishing T44. Lost strokes putting, but only lost 1.5. That's kind of what you want to see. Historically bad putter who is on a excellent run with the flat stick. When he finally loses, is he going to lose 5 or 6? Because that's like what Ryan Gerard might do, or what guys who are vintage team no putt might do. He didn't. He lost 1.5. Still have great tee to green numbers. Again, he's climbing while a lot of the guys down here are falling. And we can, let me just kind of look at this real quick. So if we just go power rankings, well, actually, let's do it this way. Let's go to the cheat sheet. Let's just do everybody in this field last. Here's what I'm actually going to do. Watch this. Instead of using, okay, let's do 24 rounds for everybody in this field. There are only 7 that are gaining a third of a stroke or more per round. This should be a lot higher. These are guys that are in the playoffs, right? So 7 out of 30 in this $6,000 range are playing what I would consider good golf. Nick Taylor's been the best, 1.1. Ryan Fox, Emiliano Grillo, Max Grazerman, despite the missed cuts. Sam Stevens, Kevin Yu, Nico Echeverria. See what the model has to say. I want to be a little bit cautious on course history because of the changes that have been done. So let's just put 10 on Southwind. Then we are going to do a very short term. I want heaters, baby. Let's do last 20 rounds. Probably the shortest I will ever do for 25 strokes gained total. Now we're going to go driving accuracy for 20. Then we are going to do approach play. Yeah, we need a lot of approach play. We need strokes gained approach. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put 10 on last 12, 8 on last 24, 5 on last 36. Create our own little weighted run at this. Putting on Bermuda, 10, and then strokes gained putting last 24, last 12. Why not? For 15. Oh my lord. Oh my lord. Number one golfer is Russell Henley. Yikes. Now I've got problems. Because this is gonna bend my mind. All right. Henley, Fitzpatrick, English, Scotty, Hideki, Ben Griffin, Tommy Fleetwood, Lucas Glover, Denny McCarthy, Kurt Kitayama. Oh boy. I mean, Russell's been really hot. Matt Fitzpatrick has been scorching hot. I mean, this is such a short-term thing. Scotty's only knock is that he's 41st out of a field of 70 in driving accuracy. Ben Griffin's been so good as well. All right, we've got work to do. We've got flights to catch. We've got boots to put on the ground. We've got live chats to do. We've got interviews to do. We've got things to do. Much more coming out this week. Make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all that fun stuff. Links are in the description. It should hopefully be a very actionable, informative week that I'm very much looking forward to. All right. Best of luck. Talk to you guys soon.